All right, hello, Team Robots, very appropriate team name. So we're talking to Nick uh, Nadier. I've never known how to pronounce your name. Sorry about that, Victoria, and Kylie. And on that note, you are all students who I've only been working with for this semester. You're mostly Jackson students, I believe. So I keep these sorts of things in mind when I encounter your work, especially when there isn't one representative on the team who can say, well, Steve's preferences are this, or this is where you can find information. So I keep those things in mind as I encounter assignments. I have, I've done so here. And so let's see, how machines improve the workplace. Okay, so uh, plenty to like here. I think a lot of your observational data, especially the primary data in general, but the observational data specifically was very useful and engaging. It covered a wide variety of sort of workplaces, something I'm going to talk more about later. Um, I found that very interesting, and it really was sort of very 2018, sort of a snapshot of where we are today in terms of sort of technology helping us work. Very very broad terms, but terms all the same. So I really enjoyed your observational data, and well, this is kind of a good news, bad news, but you definitely the video itself as it played, uh, you left me enough time to read your many very text-heavy slides, and I thought that was good because for all the text that was on there, if I had to, sort of pause the video to read it all, I'm also a pretty fast reader, which maybe helps you a little bit here. Uh, anyway, if I had to stop and pause and read and then click play again, that would be very jarring and disruptive. So that didn't happen. That's a very good thing. So like I said, plenty to like here, especially in terms of the observational data. My larger thoughts, my general impressions, I guess, are the bigger picture stuff is that this feels like everybody sort of brought their research paper, condensed it down to a chunk of this presentation, and then typed it up in a different format. Um, the real key of multimodality is to have your viewer affected through multiple means, through multiple modes. I've definitely had to read, definitely too much so. There's something to be said for creating a slideshow, but that's not really what this assignment was designed to do. Sure, you had a couple of pictures in there, but was this truly multimodal? I mean, it did self-play. It was properly consideration of pacing was given, but in terms of the decisions made at the presentation format level, where I mean, where were the images? Where were the embedded videos? Where was even narration? Even someone reading all that very heavy text. Of course, that would have made the video very very long, and maybe would have tipped you off that maybe you have a lot more than 8 minutes worth of material to digest. But the lack of narration is disappointing, I guess. Not a fatal error, so to speak, but concerning enough that maybe a firmer understanding of what exactly involves multimodal composition could have been more strongly represented here. Let's say that. What else? A lot of typos. If you're going to type something up, you should definitely proofread it as well. If you're going to give me that many words over 8 minutes, and basically me just trying to read and keep up with the slides, you should take care of every one of those words, right? And I saw lots of typos. I saw some I's in there. I did my observation. Well, who's I? This is supposed to be a group project, represented, representative of a group effort. So anytime I see the word I in a group project, that's of course cause for concern. That suggests to me that proofreading and sort of final editing considerations maybe weren't given as much room to breathe as they could have otherwise. I don't want to get too bogged down on the argument itself, but again, machines and the workplace are impossibly slippery terms. They're very difficult for me to wrap my head around, and so it makes your argument feel a bit detached, a bit further away from me than it maybe could have or should have been. Medical field and fast food, like what do those really have to say about each other? Aren't the expectations in those fields very different? Couldn't you have just focused on one? That would have definitely narrowed your argument in some significant ways. Panera, Starbucks, they're not even fast food. They're called QSRs, they're called quick service restaurants. They're not fast food. That's what, McDonald's is. That's what Taco Bell is. That's fast food. These restaurants that's a quick service. And so I feel like even a cursory bit of research about how to categorize different types of dining experiences might have helped a little bit as well. Although I thought the BJ example was a pretty good one too. So overall, I mean, I think you hit a lot of the beats of the assignment in ways that were satisfactory to me, although several decisions in terms of content delivery could have maybe been discussed a little bit more by your team. I know you guys worked a lot asynchronously, and so I'll read your reflections very carefully to see kind of to look under the hood to kind of see how this all came together, and that'll probably flesh out my understanding. But it is my policy that I grade all the CMPs first, and then I read the reflections so that I can make adjustments on the fly. But I like to see what the final products look like before I understand what went into the creation of them. So for you guys, for this group, for what was it? Team Robots. I will call this C+. Okay, so and that's above average. So good on you for that. And please send me any questions that you have. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks again for a really fun semester.